So, you are coming to Italy in August. Oh dear, I wish you the best of luck, and I promise you I'm not mocking you when I say this, but you know I tell it to you how it is. It really is not the best month to come to Italy, but don't worry because I've got your back. In this video, I'm going to share with you the things that you must prepare for if this is the month that you are visiting Italy, as well as some insider tips so that you can kind of make your experience here that little bit more comfortable in a month which really and truly, for those that know, is the least desirable month to visit Italy. So let's get into the video. So let's talk about the weather. It's bloody hot here in Italy in August, and I'm not just talking about South Italy where I am, I'm talking about all of Italy. Consider in the last couple of weeks we have had various red weather alerts across all of Italy, from the north of Italy all the way down to the southern tips of Italy. It's been really unbearable. This week alone we've been averaging 35 degrees C temperatures, and that is pretty cool considering the last couple of summers we've reached 40 degrees. Now, you might be looking at that and thinking, well, that's not too bad actually, but you've got to remember that's excluding humidity, because with humidity, the temperatures always feel so much higher. So this kind of season, this month, is not for the faint-hearted. And what you've got to consider is not only the fact that your face is probably going to resemble something like mine. I literally struggle with shiny face syndrome for all of August, pretty much all summer to be fair. But aside from that, you've got to remember that this is going to impact the kind of things you can actually do and feel like doing once you are here. Now, my biggest tip for you, apart from watching this video next, which goes into some other kind of insights into how you can stay cool here in Italy in the summer, my biggest tip for you apart from that video is to structure your day accordingly. So essentially, you want to make sure that you are doing the bulk of your activities in the first part of the day and at dusk into the evening, because that is when the temperatures are a little bit more bearable and the sun isn't as strong. If you are planning your bulk of your activities in the height of the afternoon sun, I'm talking 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, oh my goodness, you're going to find it difficult, particularly if what you plan to do isn't anywhere near the sea. If you plan to go and explore a city, for example, go and see some famous sites, go around an open archaeological site, for example, like Pompeii, please do not do this in the height of the afternoon sun, because it will be very, very difficult. And every single year I read news reports of tourists that do just that, and they come unstuck and they come over bad. And you know, you've just got to think about it logically. Those kinds of activities are better when the sun isn't at its strongest. So you are going to have to maybe adjust your plans a little bit in the month of August to accommodate these high temperatures. You're also going to want to invest in, oh gosh, I cannot find it. One moment. There we are, keeping it real. You're also going to want to invest in one of these. So one of these lovely fans that you can find anywhere and everywhere in Italy. You can buy really inexpensive ones. This one isn't expensive, for example. You can splash the cash and buy a really, really fancy one, but you are going to need a fan. Now you might be thinking, oh, but I'm going to be exerting so much energy moving my hand to fan myself. But trust me, when the air isn't moving, you need to move the air. It's the only thing that I can say to you. This fan has been a godsend for me on so many different occasions, particularly if you are in places where the air conditioning doesn't work or it's not very effective, or you're just walking around and you need to take a moment to refresh yourself. Really and truly make sure this is one of the first purchases you make here if you don't bring one from home. It's essential. As is the fact that you need to make sure you're hydrated whilst you're here in these temperatures. Make sure that you drink plenty of water. In most Italian cities, you will come across water fountains that are completely free to use, and they usually utilize natural mountain water, so you can refill your bottles up and stay hydrated. But this is another really important factor as well. Now, of course, if you're going to the beach, lucky you, this is probably the best place to be in August in Italy. But of course, even that means you have to pay attention because the sun is really strong, and I see a lot of tourists every year get sunburnt or have sunstroke because they just don't anticipate how strong the sun is. So there are lots of factors to consider when it comes to the weather here and to the temperature and to the climate. Please don't underestimate it. I come from London, and you know, in London, we pretty much lose our minds when the thermostat reaches 25 degrees. So here, 6 years in, I'm still struggling with the temperatures. You would think I'd be in love. Oh my gosh, days upon days of blue sky and sunshine. Like I'm used to the grey clouds and rain. But I promise you, after a while, it becomes unbearable when you still have to live a normal life with these temperatures. You are not just sitting still by the beach every day. So, you know, you've got to factor this in. Even if you like the heat, be realistic. It is going to be difficult and it may still take you by surprise. So be prepared. Another thing that you need to consider in the month of August is that you are coming in probably one of the busiest months of the year. Now, if you don't know already, August is the holiday season for the average Italian person because Italian people are given their holiday leave pretty much once a year, and that tends to fall in August. And so what you'll find is Italian people will have second homes in Italy, often in beach locations, and they will retreat to their second homes or go to other popular locations throughout Italy to spend their holiday time. So what that means for you as a tourist is not only are you going to be contending with other tourists like yourself from different countries, you are also going to be battling for your space on the beach with fellow Italians, either from the local area or from other parts of Italy. So it can just get a bit messy in August, especially in beach locations. Now, if we're going to take it to Palermo, which is where I'm at the moment, Mondello Beach is a nightmare in the summer. In fact, I don't normally go to Mondello Beach in the summer for this reason. I avoid it like the plague. I did go the other night and I was pleasantly surprised. It was beautiful, but then we were in July back then and it was nighttime. So, you know, in the day it's a whole other story. But you have to be prepared for this. You've got to be prepared for lots of people, especially in Mondello. You've got to be prepared for not a lot of space on the beach unless you are willing to pay for a Lido. You've also got to prepare yourself for the fact that as a result of all of these people being on holiday at the same time, your accommodation options are going to be, first of all, limited because a lot of places will already be booked. And secondly, they're going to be really expensive. Like literally, if you consider the price of accommodation in August and compare it to somewhere in September, in fact, I'm going to do a comparison right here. Look at this. You will see that the prices are wildly different. You can save yourself some money coming here in September for sure. Depending on where you are in Italy, you can still experience fantastic weather and you miss all of the crazy, frantic energy that there is in August with everybody off on holiday at pretty much the same time. So this is definitely something to consider. Like last year I went to Modica and Ragusa at the end of August and I got a great bargain. But I went at the end of August. If I had gone at the beginning to middle point of August, I would have paid a lot more. So be wise. This is a good tip for you. Really strategically plan when you're going to come. You have to come in the latter part of August because the first part of August, leading up to the 15th, which I'll talk about next, tends to be very, very, very expensive. Now, let's talk about the 15th of August because it is called Ferragosto here in Italy and it is a national holiday for the whole country and it officially marks the end of summer. And what happens is people tend to go to the beach, they spend time with family and friends, the majority of businesses are closed on that day, apart from ones that cater to tourists, and there is just this energy of everything stopping. Now what you will find is a lot of Italian people will kind of gear their holiday around that particular festival. So for me, for example, I am not working that entire week this year. So this is the same for a lot of people. Some Italian people are able to take holiday at other points in August, but for many, they kind of structure their holiday around Ferragosto. So this is why I say to you that everything is so much more expensive around that time and so much busier as well. So this is definitely something to consider. If you can avoid coming around the 15th of August, I think you'll have a better experience, or better than to be expected, shall we say. But August is just super busy. There is no denying it. There is no escaping it unless you choose to go somewhere really, really, really remote. And it's super expensive, and it's expensive in every respect, from airplane tickets through to accommodation. Even Lidos are expensive. If you want to book a Lido, August is like the peak season, so you pay a lot more for an umbrella and a bed. So lots to consider in August, and this is yet another reason why I don't think it's the best month to come. Now, it should be said that if you are planning to go to like the tourist locations, you probably won't notice this as much, because certainly when I came to Italy for the first time in 2017, I stayed at a hotel near Sorrento, and I did a lot of the organised trips and tours that the hotel provided. So I didn't really notice as much back then that August was a bit of a dead month. Like later on, like now looking back in hindsight, I can see that actually, yeah, it was a bit quieter compared to normality. But back then as a tourist, I didn't really notice because I was in a bit of a bubble. However, if you plan to have a bit of more of an authentic holiday, you will notice shops and businesses closed at various points throughout August, particularly those that cater to locals. So the tourist places, as I've said before, will pretty much stay open because it's their bread and butter tourist season. So they will remain open. But if you plan to have a bit more of a real Italian holiday, then you may be disappointed to find that shops and businesses are closed throughout that month. And not many people realise this. Like, this is not a normal thing in other countries around the world. And still, I struggle with this even to this day. Like, in the UK, August is a normal working month, as it is in most other countries around the world. And literally, you know, the only difference is perhaps the schools are closed and some people get to take holiday, but that's it. Everything is still open and functioning as normal. But in Italy, it's not like that at all. And so I do think you need to be prepared for this if this is the month that you plan to visit here. You will find in a lot of busy places, restaurants are absolutely rammed. And I want to give you a bit more of a budget-friendly tip. If you are staying in a beach location, particularly here in the south of Italy, there are lots of beautiful places, why not consider just getting a takeaway and sitting on the beach and having your dinner? Like, do it like the locals, because the restaurants will be absolutely heaving with tourists. And if you are able to take away your food and go and eat it on the beach, watching the sunset or whatever it is you want to do, you will have a really authentic experience, and one that costs a lot less than eating at a restaurant. Now, of course, you may want the restaurant experience, in which case make sure you book a table, you reserve your space, you are organised. You need to be organised in August in this way. But if you want to have a bit more of an authentic experience, this is something really nice to do, and it will cost you a lot less money as well. So just another little tip that I'd like to share with you. So in summary, this is what it's like to visit Italy in August. It isn't really the best for many different reasons, as I've highlighted in this video. You can still have an incredible time though. I don't want you to watch this and be like, oh my gosh, I've made a mistake, I need to cancel my holiday. Don't do it. I came here in August in 2017, and at that point decided I wanted to live here, so my experience wasn't terrible. However, having lived here now for 6 years, I do realise that that experience back then wasn't as authentic as it could have been. And so, you know, I'm all about sharing with you real Italy, and I want you to have a great time here and not be stuck in this tourist bubble, which is why I'm sharing all of these tips with you, so you can be prepared and you can enjoy your August here and not be full of disappointment. I will see you in the next video.